Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at noon.
Now at noon, we're looking back at the life and legacy of civil rights activist Jesse Jackson. But first, police are asking for information on a man involved in a shooting that left one person dead this morning. Winter Park police confirmed a heavy scene overnight was because of a deadly shooting. Police say officers found a man shot who later died at the hospital. It happened overnight on Railroad Avenue, right off North Pennsylvania Avenue. News 6's Mark Lehman is there with what investigators have found so far.
Winter Park detectives gathering evidence for several hours, and the focus of their investigation was on the back part of this housing complex off of Pennsylvania Avenue. Here's video from earlier this morning. Police blocked off Pennsylvania between Webster Avenue and Dunbar Street overnight. Investigators initially wouldn't say why there was such a large response, but the focus was on this housing complex owned by the city. I spoke with a neighbor here who told me she heard 2 gunshots and then later looked outside and saw the body of a man on the ground in front of one of the units here. And back out here, there are a lot of questions that remain about all this. So far, police have not identified the person who was killed. They also haven't said if they have made any arrests in this case or identified a suspect. We are continuing to press them for answers. And as soon as we get any updates, we'll post them under this story on clickorlando.com. In Winter Park, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Again, Winter Park police are asking anyone with information to please help identify this man. You can call the Winter Park Police Department at the number there on your screen or Crime Line at 800-423-TIPS. Turning to your forecast now, it was a beautiful start to our day. We're seeing really nice conditions out there right now, but as always, Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos, there are changes on the horizon.
Big time. Hands up. We are talking roller coaster temperatures, meaning the sweaters you thought you could put away just yet? We didn't say so, not yet. Simon says no. We are going to continue to see a lot more of those colder temperatures in the forecast later on next week. Downtown Orlando Skycam, just a beautiful live look right now. Mix of sun and clouds. This is exactly where we should be for this time of the year. Mid-70s, that breeze coming in out of the east between about 10 to 15 miles per hour. The rest of Central Florida right now in those mid to low 70s. We're going to continue to climb with temperatures already at this hour running between 6 and 11 degrees warmer today than yesterday. You can see the daytime highs, though. It looks like we might actually bump up these numbers a little bit. Temperatures are warming up a little faster than originally forecasted, but you can see we're back into the upper 80s. Now, if we see a stretch of 80s like this, and this forecast verifies, this would be the warmest stretch of weather we've seen since about early November. But all things will be changing as we are going to be tracking the arrival of a new cold front. Wind gusts at this point in time still pretty gusty, and that is going to continue to keep our fire threat elevated. What we need is some more rain. That will come with all the big changes later on this weekend. Your full forecast coming up in minutes.
Candace, thank you. In Volusia County, part of I-95 is back open after a man died after crashing to the back of a semi. The deadly crash happened last night before 11:30 on northbound I-95 near the State Road 442 exit in Edgewater. Florida Highway Patrol says the man didn't stop for a semi-trailer hitting the back of the truck. He died at the scene. The semi-driver was not hurt and stayed on the scene. FHP says all northbound lanes reopened this morning around 9:20. Now at noon, tributes are pouring in for the late civil rights icon, Reverend Jesse Jackson. We first told you about his death this morning. The Rainbow Push Alliance released the news, saying he died peacefully surrounded by family. These are videos of him when he was in Central Florida, including in 2012, after the shooting death of Sanford native Trayvon Martin. President Trump called him a good man in a social media post. He was 84 years old. CBS's Natalie Brand has a look at how the civil rights leader is being remembered.
Outside the Rainbow Push Coalition offices in Chicago, community members are honoring the life of the late Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr.
We are here today because we truly believe in everything that Reverend Jesse Jackson stood for.
Jackson, a civil rights leader who marched alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., went on to found his own organizations committed to fighting for justice and equality for the underrepresented.
My constituency is the desperate, the damned, the disinherited.
Among those who knew Jackson personally, Brian Stevenson of the Equal Justice Initiative.
His voice has been so central to the movement toward justice, for this idea of creating an America that includes everyone, that lifts up the neediest, the poorest.
In the 80s, Reverend Jackson ran for president twice. While he faced criticism in his first campaign for anti-Jewish comments, he's also credited with laying the foundation for future candidates, such as former President Barack Obama, and expanding the Democratic coalition.
His presidential campaigns of 84 and 88 were influential in how he conducted a campaign to really bring people who were locked out and left out.
President Trump paid tribute to Jackson in a social media post, calling him a good man with lots of personality, grit, and street smarts.
The Reverend Al Sharpton called him his mentor.
He opened my eyes that we could make a difference. We could make change.
Despite declining health in recent years, Jackson continued to make public appearances, including at the 2024 Democratic National Convention, where he received a standing ovation. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Kissimmee is talking term limits and background checks. Today, commissioners are set to vote on pushing forward 2 charter amendments. This could give voters the power to decide how long they can hold the job and what requirements they need to meet if they want a chance at joining the commission. Your Osceola County community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez explains.
Right now, here in Kissimmee, city commissioners can serve 2 4-year terms, but that could soon be 3 terms. Also coming down the line, potentially, a new step in officially joining the election process here. In an attempt to extend commissioners to 3 terms, meaning commissioners could be on it up to 12 years, city leaders are set to vote on adding a charter amendment to the August ballot. The change, if voters approve it, would go into effect immediately, allowing current commissioners to serve 3 terms.
So it could take a while, you know, bureaucracy and everything.
Crystal Sanders thinks 4 more years could help push policy through.
I think it could be good because sometimes it takes a couple years for permits and plans to get finalized. And then with a re-election, if that board member, committee member is no longer on it, it's kind of difficult to continue those plans and it could get changed up.
While others feel 2 is more than enough.
I think it's a little massive and unfair to other people that might have the same qualities or even better than someone else.
The other charter amendment also has to do with the commission, but for those interested in making a run for a seat. It would require background checks for all potential candidates, a quote, commitment to transparency.
We should have an idea of who's running the town, including their background checks.
Even though criminal histories are public record and the cost of a background check would fall on taxpayers, many are still on board.
Like, you should want to know who's giving you orders or making rules.
The commission will also be voting on possibly strengthening its smoking restrictions. If they approve this ordinance, it would prohibit smoking and vaping in all of the city's public parks, and anyone found not in compliance could be asked to leave the city-owned property. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
A strange scene in a Publix parking lot in Ormond by the Sea. Deputies say a man was trying to get revenge on his ex, but instead caused thousands of dollars to damage to the wrong car.
Hey, get out of the car! Get out of the car! I'll verify that. Get out of the car, get on the ground right now.
Okay, that guy you see there laying on the ground in handcuffs, that's the suspect. His name is Justin Allen. Volusia County Sheriff deputies say he broke into an SUV and started smashing it with a hammer. When confronted, investigators say Allen claimed he was targeting his ex's vehicle, but the SUV actually belonged to a Publix employee. Allen now faces multiple charges and is out of jail on a $10,500 bond. Governor Ron DeSantis highlighted Florida's success in workforce education at a high school in Titusville today, saying the state ranks #1 in that category. The governor emphasized the importance of providing young people with multiple pathways to success beyond traditional 4-year colleges. Since taking office in 2019, DeSantis said Florida set an ambitious goal to become the nation's leader in workforce education by 2030. The state achieved that milestone 5 years early, thanks to investments exceeding $12 billion in workforce programs.
Florida's ranked #1 in talent attraction for 3 years in a row. We ranked #1 in public higher education 9 years running. We're ranked #1 in 2-year college graduation rates, #1 for lowest tuition and fees, #1 in education freedom for the 4th consecutive year in a row.
The governor praised vocational and technical training programs, noting that students from Brevard Public Schools have been hired by SpaceX immediately after graduation. He stressed the value of hands-on learning through apprenticeships programs, which now have 25,000 active participants statewide.
If your laundry room stinks, there's a good chance it's your washing machine. Ew!
you got to sanitize it. I'm Eric Von Anken. I'm going to show you how and how to keep the stench from coming back. We're getting results at home coming up.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Oh, that does stink.
Oh, did you have your shower today?
Yeah, it's not me or Jeff. This viewer tells us it's her washing machine. And yeah, it's coming from right down there. I'm News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken, the handy newsman. That's Jeff, the crafty cameraman. And we're going to show you today, getting results at home in Longwood, how to clean this, stop the stink, and keep it from coming back. Ew. Ugh. But I'm not going to judge. I've been there. Step one is scoop the goop. I know this is nasty, but try and wipe off as much of the gunk as you can first. Ugh. Step two is to sanitize. The reason your washer smells is because the dirt gets caught up with the soap, not just in here, but in all the little crevices of the machine, inside things like your hoses and your trays. What you use to sanitize is up to you. Vinegar, of course, is all natural. Bleach is a lot more harsh, but a lot more effective. We're going to use bleach because this needs a thorough cleaning. And don't forget the crevices, like the dispenser and the trays. Then run a full heavy-duty cycle on hot and select 2 rinses. If your machine doesn't have an extra rinse feature, when this is all finished, then run a second cycle without any clothes in it, just to make sure you get out any lingering bleach so it doesn't mess up your clothes. And now we wait. Jeff, what do we do in the meantime? Ooh, this one's my favorite. Hey, I'm News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken, the handy newsman. That was really good.
Some of your best work.
Cookies are ready, Jeff. Now that's getting results. Wow, it's like brand new. Looks so much better. And smells so much better. And that's step 3. Do this once a month. If you sanitize regularly like this, you should never have this stench. We're getting results at home in Longwood. Eric Von Anken, News 6.
I love when he's so impressed with his own work. That's my favorite part. All right, here's a live look outside. This is our Daytona Beach sky cam. Gorgeous shot there. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is here. Candace, my dog really enjoyed showing off his new hairdo on his walk this morning. It was so nice.
Was his hair blowing in the wind?
Yes, we'll see temperatures going up, but then some changes beyond that.
Yeah, so it's one of the, I think the dogs are the same way. They're kind of over the cold when it gets too cold. I think it's not going to be as cold as that big freeze that we were under. We're not looking at temperatures like that, but still, don't put away the jackets just yet. I've been reading some of the comments on our Facebook page about this story, about the big weather whiplash, and people saying, I was just about to start buying some of my spring plants. Don't do that just yet. Let's give it a little bit of time before we can really start to enjoy the warm weather. Daytona Beach, let's first talk about the nice warm-up that is in store. Perfect beach weather over the next couple of days if you have the opportunity to do so. There's still a rip current risk, though, in place. Right at 74 in Melbourne right now, in Daytona Beach at 71. Orlando, you are warming up fast, holding at 76. So here are the main weather headlines. See the sprinklers there in the background. You'll need to water your lawn and your plants for the time being. It's going to be still very dry. Unfortunately, drought conditions are once again going to stack up again into the afternoons. Over the next few days, it's going to be warm, it's going to be breezy, and it's just going to be bone dry. Now, as we head into the weekend, temperatures are really going to ramp up, nearing record highs by Friday and Saturday, all before a new cold front comes in on Sunday, bumps up rain chances just a little bit, and then we'll be talking about a quick shot of winter returning. You can see here a lot of dry air still in place area-wide, and that dry air is once again going to continue to keep things pretty stable, pretty quiet. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
All right, your highs this afternoon back into the upper 70s, running just a few degrees above average. If you're along the coastline, specifically in Brevard County, there will be a low-end chance for a quick isolated sprinkle. Just a little bit of green there getting picked up on the modeling. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot, but worth a mention, which is why only in Brevard we're holding that chance of rain at about 10%. So if rain is not going to be the big story, it's going to be the warmth. They're really going to start ramping up those temperatures. You can see in the contours here how bright orange the Sunshine State will be as we're going to continue to crank up the heat, almost nearing summer levels. Now, it won't last long. We are watching the arrival of a new cold front. This, just like last Sunday, will be bringing some rain, but the difference with this one is there will be some cold air backing it, and that's why temperatures are expected to tumble. So this is what you can expect over the next couple of days. You can see nearing record highs both Friday and Saturday, especially Saturday, only 1 degree shy of a record of 88 set back in 1989. Then Sunday, the story will be about the rain, just how much, and the timing still needs to be fine-tuned, but it is something we'll be tracking. Now, once that front clears, look at your temperatures Monday and Tuesday. We'll have a day, 2 or 3 days in the 60s. The coldest night, though, will be Tuesday morning. We're talking about temperatures dropping down into the 30s, but it just won't be the 30s. We have a bit of a wind chill to contend with. So this is, again, looking well in advance here. Tuesday morning, it will be feeling like the 20s and 30s again. This is not the actual temperature. This is what it will be feeling like. So making sure that you know where all your heavier jackets are. You will be needing it at least one more time this winter. And along with temperatures like that, we could also be having to deal with a little bit of frost across most of inland central Florida, and even the possibility of a freeze warning or two there in Sumter and Marion County. So really, we're talking ups and downs. This is where everyone says they tend to get sick because of how crazy the weather is going to get. But again, we are talking about the warmest stretch we've seen since early November, and then temperatures take a tumble by early next week.
Candace, thank you. Toilet to tap is at the center of discussion for Volusia County leaders. Coming up, we'll break down what it is and why some say it should be banned. And coming up on News 6 at 6.
The math isn't mathing for us.
A retired teacher asks a local congressman for help after his health insurance skyrockets. The strange response he received. Here's a live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6 at noon. We'll be right back. Happening today, Volusia County leaders are set to vote on a charter amendment that would place a ban on toilet to tap. That's an initiative being pushed across the state as a way for cities and counties to save water. The state says with new development and a growing population, there's a drinking water shortage. However, some neighbors tell us they never want recycled water pumped into the county's aquifers.
What letters would you write? How many meetings would you go to once it was already there to scream to get it out? We got to go right now.
Some say this doesn't solve the bigger problem at hand, including the conservation group Dream Green Volusia. The county council will vote on placing the charter amendment on the ballot at today's meeting. That starts at 4 o'clock. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right, as we look here at the next couple of days, talk about going up and down. We are looking at a pretty warm week ahead. So, of course, that's the big story. But then there's another story right behind it. A new cold front comes through on Sunday. Notice temperatures on Monday, even into Tuesday, will be dropping down into the 60s. It's something we're going to be tracking. The highs, the lows, the records, the frost, all of it in the next 7 days.
Something for everyone.
Basically.
Thanks so much for joining us. Our next newscast is at 3, and you can always check clickorlando.com. Have a great day.